Hi everybody, welcome in. I am Julie Maxon, the main stamper. I am here at 8 o'clock. It is Monday, February 17th, and I'm here for your live card class from Maine, and I am so excited to be on time. 5 minutes ago I was panicking because of course the tech is always very tricky for me, and I didn't have audio, and then I didn't have a streaming platform working, so I refreshed a couple of things, and here I am. So I am live at 8. If you are watching, and when you start watching, please let me know if you can see and hear me. I love to know that everything is actually working correctly because I am the most tech challenged currently. It looks like I think I'm good. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So welcome in. I'm so happy to have you here. Now this is going to be an interesting card class. I think they're all interesting, but this one's going to be extra interesting because I actually have 8 different cards to share with you. Now I'm going to do a card class of 4. Hi Tammy, good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend. And I'm going to share with you all kinds of stuff, but I did an in-person card class on Saturday, and it was a fun fold card class. So I'm going to share those cards with you, and you're going to see the fun folds. And they are elaborate. They were very fun to make. And then after we get done with the fun folds, going through those, I'm going to share with you the everyday cards because we're using the Everyday You and Me bundle by Stampin' Up. Now this may be completely foreign to you. You may not even be aware that this is a bundle because it's not in any catalogs. It is online exclusively. So we're going to go through that and talk a little bit about what's in the bundle and go through some really fabulous cards. So I'm going to get over to my workspace because I do have some announcements to make too, right? So I want to make sure you guys are all aware of what I'm offering and what's going on right now. And hi Patty. So Patty, these cards are going to be fun because I'm going to share what we did on Saturday. Patty was at my class. But I'm also, they're going to be different today. So I'm taking the same colors and concepts, but I've changed them up. So it's a lot of fun to see, hopefully, and give you guys ideas too about what you can do at home when you get your card kits, right? All right, so let me get over to my workspace. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff. Please continue to say hi as you jump on. And first, we're going to talk about Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys all had a good Valentine's Day. So I just want to share with you some of my little treats. So this is something Tammy's right here now. This is something Tammy made. How cute is this little box? Little paper box, right? She made this. Of course, she had some good treats in there, you know. But this is from the Meant to Be bundle. I did a class on this a couple of weeks ago. The little bumblebees. We got the big and the little bumblebee here, and just really cute. I love this paper. So that's a little 3D project that Tammy made for some of her Galentines, and I happened to be one of them at work, so that was awesome. This card, I love when Mary sends me cards because she incorporates her pups in them, and I think it's super cute. This little flag comes up and down. There's like a little Brad right here in this mailbox. This is not a Stampin' Up item, but how cute and sweet is that, right? So that one's from Mary. This one is from Lori, super sweet, and purple is in pinks, a nice little heart. I love this punch, and I love the way she did her ribbon and coordinated with her embellishment. Really super sweet. This one is from Jody and Lexi, and this is a Sale-A-Bration stamp set. I love this one. Pick a season, and lots of fun colors on here. Really cute little ribbon. So, and then the heart, of course, with a little bit of the wink of Stella on there. This one is from my mother-in-law, Linda. She made this cute Valentine's Day. Again, so these punches are popular. Check that out. I got two different cards, 2 different people. Say, I love when you can just use the items that you have all the time. This just is a really fun card too. It's got like a 3D effect almost with the way the punches work here and all the papers. And she told me that she recycled, I believe it was candy boxes. So I know another friend of mine, Jane Nordberg, she loves to use recycled product in her cards, so it's always fun too. And this last one is from Tabitha, and how cute and sweet is this, right? So she took that paper pumpkin kit and she did some really fun things with it. All of these little heart rows, they're up on embellishments. I'm sorry, they're up on dimensionals. So that's really fun. So I wanted to share my Galentines with you. I hope you guys all had a really fun Valentine Day. We are just coming through from President's Day now, and we're going to talk a little bit more about more announcements. So I see a few of you guys are jumping on, so I'm going to come back over and just see who's with me. I wanted to say Cardmaker Club sign up for February is ending in a couple more days. Cardmaker Club is something that I offer where you get a half a pack of Designer Series paper. This happens to be February's DSP. It's the plaid. Do I have the name of it? Not in front of me. It's the really fabulous plaids, and I love it. You're getting full bolts of ribbon. You're getting a 2-pack for this month. You're getting embellishments. So you get a full embellishment. These are all the product that you get. You make 8 cards, so just 8 card kits. So these are the ones we're doing, memorable blooms for February. So we'll be making 2 each of 8 of these. I'm sorry, 2 each of 4 equals 8. There we go. My mind is thinking way too fast. So if you're interested in joining the card club for February, let me know. I can get you signed up for that. You can go on my blog and sign up. There's a lot more to the kit besides the card kits and the product. There's surprise gifts. There's a few free samples. And all kinds of good stuff. So if you're interested in that, the sign up ends for that on the 20th, which is coming right up. It's this Thursday. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to talk about is my March Madness cards and bingo. This is also really awesome. If you're local to Maine, this is in Herman, March 8th, which is like just less than 3 weeks away. The early bird sign up ends tonight. This is why I'm bringing this to your attention. If you want to come to the early bird, get the early bird price and come on March 8th, it's $45. If you sign up tomorrow through February 28th, it's going to be $50. You're also going to be getting some product there. We're going to do 4 cards. We're going to play bingo and then beyond. Like, we play a ton of games at my events. I do a lot of prizes. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun day. So make sure if you're local, you get yourself signed up and save yourself $5 on that part, right? So we're going to do today the Everyday You and Me card class. The ordering special is the normal thing. $45 order gets you the 4 card kits. Let's take a look at the card kits real quick. We have some pinks, some blues, some yellows, and then black, which is always an interesting color when you mix this in with card kits. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, you may have seen me share the card kits that we had for the in-person class. I haven't shared their cards yet because I like to surprise you guys. So those are the card kits. You'll get 4 of those. We're going to put those together tonight so you can see how they work. When you do $55 order, you're getting the card kits and the embellishment. And this is the embellishment. It is called Rainbow Adhesive Back Dots. Now, you don't see the purple in here, so let me show you my opened up one here. Purple. All the colors, right, of the rainbow. So the purple's kind of hidden in this package, but you'll get a free embellishment when you go to $55 this week. I'm using them on my cards today. And then you're going to get the email recipes and then a bonus. So this week is bonus week. This week I'm going to be doing, besides the 4 card recipes from the class, I'm going to be doing the 4 card recipes for the fun folds. Now you're going to see the fun folds and the card class cards all night tonight. So you're basically getting 8 card recipes with this week's order. So if you like the fun folds, this is a great week to order because you're getting all of those directions and pictures on assembly. And it's just going to be awesome. It's like a bonus week, really, as Sale-A-Bration starts winding down. The host code is NEYRMNKX. That's like a mouthful. And my offer is good through end of day Friday. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. Let's talk a little bit about the Everyday You and Me, because you probably don't even know about this fun bundle. This may be like completely foreign to you. You may be like, wait a minute, what is this? Where did this come from? So this is a stamp set, which has lots of flowers in it, as you can see here. Some leaves, a few really big sentiments, and then it's got some coordinating dies. Now all of the dies in the set will outline your stamped imagery. So there's no bonus ones where they're just like leafy ferns or, you know, different fun backgrounds. These are just a set just like this. Here we go. And this comes from the scrapbooking brochure that is in January 2025. They released the scrapbooking brochure. Hey, look, there's Meant to Be. We use that one from here too. I love that there's so many different places. So if you have this or look at it online, it goes with this really fabulous paper. I love this paper, and it is kind of meant to be used with scrapbooking, right? But of course, we all know we can scrapbook and card make pretty much interactively. So this is going to be on page 19 of that brochure. Here's the stamp set and the dies. The bundle is $43, so it's not really expensive. It coordinates beautifully with some great paper. And then they also feature it on page 21. Because they just kind of repeat things just to show you more samples of how you could use it, which I think is fabulous when they do that. So this is the Everyday You and Me bundle, and is in that little scrapbooking brochure. You can find it online if you're interested in it. And if you're not interested in it because you have a ton of flowers, just know that all those tons of flowers that you have in your craft room, stamps, punches, dies. You'll be able to use those in tonight's class. So feel free to pick up whatever product you want besides this bundle, and you're going to be just gold, right? You're going to have all kinds of good stuff. Now we are using one other stamp set tonight, the Simply Said stamp set, because I did want to take advantage of some really generic, smaller sentiments. The sentiments in the Everyday You and Me, they're pretty big. I am going to use a couple of them, but I wanted to use some smaller sentiments too. So I am using a different stamp set just for that. This again is a really great one if you don't have very many stamp sets yet, because it's got the basics. We've got thinking of you, thank you, happy birthday, miss you, thanks, hello, birthday wishes, just a note, and then yay and let's celebrate. So this one covers it all. And they're smaller sentiments, which means they're going to be great for punches. They're going to be great for those skinny dies that you have. And I'm going to show you some different ways we're going to use them tonight in the class. And I will be also sharing, I'm really excited about this, a little sneak peek product too. Something that is my absolute favorite of all time. All right, let me just pop my card kit over here. We're going to check out, hi Sandra, hi Michelle. Let me see who's hanging out with me today. Hi Kathy. Kathy, these cards are going to be fun because they're different from what we did on Saturday. Hi Jess, I'm glad you made it. I know you said you might have a late dinner tonight. Lynn's from New Jersey and Janice is from New York. I'm so glad to have you guys on board with me. All right, let's check out our first card. Now, as we get into our card kit, I'm going to share with you the fun fold card, but this is what's coming to you this week. So you're getting the everyday, and the everyday cards are just like our regular cards, right? So the stamp set is everyday, you and me. So you and me, we're going to be working on these everyday cards together, which I thought was a fun play on words. But I did some really elaborate ones over the weekend, the fun fold ones. So this is your card kit. We're going to make this card right here, and it is really a beautiful, lovely card. It says love every moment. So we've got the bigger sentiment from the Everyday You and Me stamp set. We've got some really pretty flowers. You're going to see Sale-A-Bration paper here. There's a little bit of a fern embossed piece here. You're getting that right here in your kit. So this is what you've got for your kit. This is the card that we're making during class. But for fun, hi from the Cape. I love that you're here. Oh my goodness, welcome in. So this is our everyday card. This was our fun fold card. So I want you to see subtle differences before I show you what makes it a fun fold, right? So it's very similar in the background, the Melon Mambo base, the Designer Series paper. Some of this is similar. I did tuck in a dark flower over here. And on our fun fold card, this fun fold card is called an accordion fold. So it opens like this. So it is a really fun fold, right? So you pop it back together. So you've got all these little spots where you can put extra pieces in. Now remember, you're getting the fun fold recipe with your order this week, but in the mail you're getting the card kit for the everyday card. So this is just an everyday card. If you were to open it up, it's just a regular fold, but I wanted to share with you where the idea came from. So let's get busy working on this card, and we're going to bring in all the parts and pieces that we need. Let me move my envelope out of the way, and we have the big love every moment sentiment. I've got to find my flowers. So the flowers on this stamp in the stamp set, Everyday You and Me, we've got the biggest one right here, which is the imagery on the case is a little bit smaller than the stamped image, and Stampin' Up is doing this to avoid all of those counterfeit scammers out there that are taking Stampin' Up's registered trademark imagery and creating the cheap knockoffs, really is where we're going with that. So the imagery is smaller, and then the scammers have a harder time copycatting Stampin' Up's trademarks. So you're going to notice that. We are going to use the biggest flower, and then I think did I use a medium flower? There's 2 medium flowers. I say that, I'm questioning you. Guys, did I use the medium? I think I did. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, so there's 2 medium flowers. They're about the same size, but they have a different shape to them, which is really nice. And there's the smallest flower. There's 2 great leaves. So we're going to use those. So let me see. We are getting out the leaves. We're going to do some stamping. We are using some ink colors. We've got Pretty in Pink, Melon Mambo, and Granny Apple Green. I love this springy, bright color combination. Now, really, any green that you have will work for this, but I happen to really enjoy the bright Granny Apple Green with this one. All right, so, oh, surprise, I got some things done ahead. I'm going to set them aside because that just makes my class go really easy. All right, so first things first, you're going to notice that this designer series paper is beautiful on either side. Now for my original card, I used this lighter color paper, and I did that in my fun fold too. I used the lighter color paper, so you can see it right here, lighter color. The back side of this is the darker paper, and I love this Sale-A-Bration paper. Remember, if you're ordering over $60, you can get this 12 by 12 pack of paper for free, and I adore it. This was on low inventory at one point. I know there's only a couple weeks left of Sale-A-Bration. I hope it doesn't sell out before you get yours. All right, so I'm going to flip the paper tonight, and I'm going to use the darker side of this. It goes just so beautifully together. And we're going to just put the bones of our card kit together. And when I talk about the bones of our card kit, I'm just letting you know that when you get this in the mail, you can start with the basics and then you can get creative. So when you get creative, it's basically taking whatever you want at home, different inks, different stamps, dyes, all of those good things. And I've got like the, this is your cake mix. This is your pre-made cake mix right here. So just add your own eggs, and you know, you want to throw in some vanilla, some chips, chocolate chips, of course. You know, all the good stuff, right? So change it up a little bit and have fun with it, but you've got the basics right here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of stamping now. We've got these 3 pieces of white. These are what's coming in your kit, and you'll be stamping these. We're going to start with Melon Mambo. Nice bright pink. And I've got love every moment. Now you could put any sentiment on here, and you can put any flowers on here. So that's the beauty of this, right? We're going to bring this in on the square of white, and we're going to kind of leave it closer to the bottom because that way we're going to have room for our flowers at the top. All right, let me set that aside out of the way where it won't get into trouble, hopefully. And let's talk about one of our little flowers. So here we go. We've got the medium flower. We're going to stamp it on here, and it's very pretty. I do need to wipe these down though as I go on the flowers because I'm using them all night on all of the cards. So not all of them will be Melon Mambo though. All right, we're done with Melon Mambo. Let's move on to the Pretty in Pink, which is an in color 24-26. So we still have a whole nother year with this color. Ooh, it is a lovely color, by the way. All right, so we're going to ink this up. We're going to pop this onto our paper, and we've got 2 flowers right here. Those are going to go onto our card front. Close this one up. Yep, we're all done with that one. And then we'll do our leaves. We'll do our leaves on the smaller piece of white. Now, if you have, I'm pretty generous when I send you paper, so you can definitely do more flowers and leaves if you want to. All up to you. I'm just showing you the basics here. So we've got these 2 different leaf patterns, which are fantastic. I love that they're different. Now, if you wanted to use 2 of the same, you could. Just remember when you're die cutting them, there's only 1 die per image for this set. So you'll do some repeat die cutting, which really is not a problem. It's pretty fast and easy. All right, let me show you on the die set here that you would use your dies, and you would just figure out which ones go around which image, which is really easy on the leaves. Let's say that, really easy on the leaves, repeating that. It's easy for the leaves. The flowers, because they're round in nature, now there's kind of some lumps and bumps on them, so you just need to turn your dies kind of clockwise, counterclockwise, until you find the right outline. Same thing with this one. I think this is this one right here. This one's a little bit easier. So you're going to die cut all of those, and when you're done die cutting them, you're going to have these flowers right here. I did re-ink. This is how different these look. I stamped these earlier today, and then I realized that a lot of my my ink pads needed to be re-inked. So I did a bunch of re-inking throughout the day today as I was prepping for this. So these are all die cut with the magic of TV, and we can just move onwards, right? So we've got our love every moment sentiment on this little white square. We're going to pop this onto the matted Pretty in Pink cardstock. And of course we have to pop this up a little bit. So let me grab out some dimensionals here, and we will throw a few of these on here and pop this up. And I'm loving the darker pink DSP here. All right, so this is going to go this way, and we're going to put this on maybe right about here. Just some nice, just really easy layering right here for sure. Now I'm going to start with the leaves. I'm going to put the leaves down. So dry fit a little bit, right? So kind of add them in here where you think they might go. Pop in your flowers just to get a feel of where you want them to be. And because I'm working off of my sample, it's a little bit easier for me. I'm not starting from scratch to design it. I know designing is like the hardest thing in the world, but we're going to just pick this up and then pop this back down. So sometimes it's easier just to put your glue right onto your project, not onto this little piece, because then when you pick it up, you might be picking up all kinds of glue with your, onto your fingers as you're moving that about. So a lot of times I like to just glue here, knowing that even if I've got the smallest dot of glue, it's going to hold, and I still have some wiggle room too. So pop this back on here and go, maybe I want this to come down a little bit. These could come over a little bit, and that's all good. I'm going to put this last flower on with a dimensional. I'm just going to use one and pop this on right here. And you can rotate your flower as well just to see what's going to look the nicest, the nicest direction for it. Just like that. Oh my goodness, look how pretty this looks. I'm loving it. This is, of course, the darker version. This is the light version, the original. And we need our bling. So let me bring in the bling. This rainbow adhesive dots. They're so pretty. So I'm going to use the pink on this one. I feel like that's obviously the best choice, but maybe you're thinking I could use yellow, because sometimes we like to use something different, right? So I'm going to just pop this one up, and I'm going to kind of come down this way with it. And then these are two sizes, these little embellishments. You have a smaller size and then a larger size of each. And I mean, they go quickly. There's so many colors in here. They're not like a set that only has 3 colors and you have 20 of each. These ones will go a little bit quicker, but we are already done with our everyday easy peasy card, right? And I'd love to know if you like the original or the darker designer series paper better. This is kind of a closer up look at it. And one more time, I'm just going to bring in this in case you're just joining us. This is based off of a very fun fold card. This piece of designer series paper that starts over here and ends over here is 12 inches. So when you have those 12-inch sheets, 12 by 12s, you're using 12, somebody called this a foot long at my class. This is a foot, they actually measured it. They're like, let me see. Yes, it's 12 inches. It is a foot long. So this is like the foot long card. But when you score it and put it all into those cute little pleats, you're able to get that all into the same size card as our regular A2. So there we go. There is our very first card from the class. I'd love to know your comments. So I'm going to go over and peek for just a second and see what you're thinking of this beautiful star. I love these colors. This one really makes me happy. You guys are liking the darker GSP. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I'm loving your comments. Thanks for hanging out with me and I love it. So keep going with all your comments. They make me happy. Okay, so that was card number 1, and really easy, right? It's an everyday card. It's an easy everyday card. When you get your card recipes at home, save them for the design layouts. So you're going to have all the dimensions. So it doesn't matter what you're doing with this top piece. You're going to have, you can change your designer paper, your colors, but you're going to be able to do some really awesome things. All right, so that is card number 1, everyday easy. I am loving it. We're going to jump into card number 2, and this one has some little pieces in it. This is, as you can see here, we're doing some blue. Now I'm going to share with you, I'm really excited about this because we have some new product alert coming up for this card. So we've got some DSP, we got some white things to stamp on. These little nested die cut pieces, you're getting one in Night of Navy and one in white. Of course, they're going to nest together. I love nesting dies, and you guys know I love nesting dies because I just like gush about them when they come out. This is going to be brand new. It's called Textured Notes Dies. It will be new to everyone to order in March. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order it now. If you join Stampin' Up! As a demonstrator before the end of February, you can pre-order it before everyone else gets it. And this is what they look like, and this is why I'm so excited. The deckled rectangles have left the building. They retired, and they were my favorite go-tos. These are basically replacing deckled rectangles for me. I'm probably going to use them on almost every card because I love the nesting, And then these all have different stitching in them too. So they're not the same stitching all throughout. You're going to see some different patterns here. Now I don't know how well my camera is going to pick any of this up. This can be great for your skinny long sentiments. But I'm so excited to be able to share with you in your card kits an early kind of like a sampling of this beautiful die that's up and coming. So let me show you the card that we're making. This is our everyday card. So you can see the cute little nested dies right there, and they're perfect. They're the perfect backdrop for a little sentiment and the flowers, which is what we're going to be doing on this card. As you can see here, you've got all these parts and pieces to make it. But let's talk a little bit about the fun fold card that we did in my in-person class. Now remember, in my in-person class, in case I didn't explain this earlier, the first card was a little tricky because we actually used the Everyday You and Me bundle for our fun fold, and then I used it for the card class. For the rest of the card class, I'm using the Everyday You and Me bundle, so I'm going to be using all of these flowers and leaves and some of the sentiments. But in my in-person fun fold class, we actually used 4 different bundles or 4 different stamp sets, if you will, and this is what we made. So you're going to see there's a pretty big difference here, right? And it just goes to show you that any theme can be used on any card. Now there are some subtle differences. I did change up the designer series paper. This one has a floral print, which is lovely with our flowers. This one's a little bit more masculine in nature, and it goes really cute with our little puppy dog, right? Now you may be wondering where this beautiful midnight blue, it's actually Night of Navy, DSP comes from. And if I flipped it over and showed you some citrus things, you might say, oh my goodness, that's the Mediterranean blooms. The opposite side of this paper had oranges, like oranges, like the fruit. Orange is the fruit, okay? So this comes from Mediterranean blooms. You may have this in your arsenal of craft supplies already. So I switched it up a little bit for the design, and obviously the design here. Now what makes this a fun fold is that the front of our card folds kind of in half, and this front piece right here, if you can see here, it's kind of floating. So it pops up. So if you've got this open, in the open position, it's got this little tunnel here, like a triangle tunnel. And then this little piece in the front is just kind of a floater piece. And then this is an embossed piece that's on dimensionals, so it helps to hold this right here. It catches it to hold it open. This is called a vertical easel. So this is the card that we made at the in-person class, and then this is my redo card for the Everyday You and Me card. We use this cute little puppy dog and this cake. This is from the stamp set in the spring catalog, and I am not recalling the name right now, but if you need to know, I can look that up. But that was a lot of fun to make that one. I really enjoyed that card. All right, let's finish our bones for our card. I'm just going to make sure I grabbed everything out of there. The balmy blue base with this beautiful designer series paper. Now, if you really wanted to, you could go in a completely different direction. I feel like this yellow and blue looks nice together. However, for this card, I am definitely keeping it blue. I like to have the blues with blues and blues. We're going to take these 2 pieces of designer series paper, and we're just going to pop them on here. Now on the fun fold card, we had folded this in half. The front of our card base was folded in half to give it that motion, and then each of these little strips of DSP fit on either half of the card front. So it's just kind of giving you an idea of how that kind of went together, right? But for this class, we're just making it flat. We're making it every day. So it's just an everyday card, an easy card that you can create. And we are going to do, again, our stamping. So we're going to stamp on this beautiful little white die cut. I need to find my sentiment that says just a note. Now, this is from the Simply Said stamp set. So I've jumped to the other stamp set in case you're wondering where I'm going with this. So just a note is right here. The width of this was actually perfect for this little tiny, it's kind of a skinny white piece of die cut paper. And I'm using Misty Moonlight for this one. I didn't tell you ink colors. For this one, we've got Misty Moonlight, Balmy Blue, and Old Olive. So some really great, that's upside down, but it's also open, so you get the idea. I don't want that all over. So just a note is going to fit on here. We're going to put it probably in, not the middle, but down a little bit farther from the middle, because I want to be able to put some flowers on top, a little bit on the bottom. And then there's my just a note. I'm going to set that aside. We're going to actually glue this together and put this onto our little Night of Navy die cut mat. And these are kind of skinny rectangles, which is nice because it's always nice to have different sizes. And we're going to put this on with some dimensionals as well before we get to our beautiful flowers and we talk about how we're going to make them so gorgeous. Making sure everything's in view here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do probably 5 of these on here. Is going to be, whoops, just about right. Sometimes the backing comes off as I'm pulling them off of the sheet, these little dimensional stickers, which I think is okay, right? Less work. All right, now you could, of course, you could center this completely if you wanted to. I kind of like it a little bit off center. I feel like it fits my mood most of the time, right? I'm just a little off center. And also it's just easier to be off center because sometimes it's really hard to be on center all the time. Okay, so for this one, we're going to use the 2 different medium flowers and the smallest flowers. We've got 3 of these flowers. So we've got the 2 mediums here. Now you can see that one is fatter than the other. This one's kind of more oval and this one's definitely more round. And then the little guy up there. And then we're also using the little leaves. So there's 2 leaves and they are different. Totally different leaves. So we're using those in this as well. So you've got some paper here. We're going to bring in Balmy Blue. We're going to keep our Misty handy, okay? And I just put my finger in it, so that's extra hand. I'm like really hands-on now. Okay, so we're going to make some cute little flowers that are two-toned. So we're going to start with the 2 mediums, and we're going to use our Balmy Blue ink first. So I'm going to just ink this up, get some Balmy Blue on there. And this photopolymer, you really can't even tell like what's going on. It's a lot harder than the red rubber to see like how much ink is on here. I've got a Misty Moonlight dauber, and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of Misty Moonlight right there in the center. And then I'm going to put that down onto my cardstock, and you're going to get the two-tone effect here on the stamping. So let's try that again one more time. So into the Balmy first. And because I'm using the dauber afterwards, right, the dauber is just going right into the Misty ink, right onto the center of the flower, kind of smush it around a little bit. It works better that way. It gives you a nicer look to it. Now my stamping is not as beautiful as I would like it to be. I think that this needs to dry a little bit. It'll look better once it's dried, but there are a lot of little bubbles in it. It probably either needs more ink or it needs to be pressed down into the ink pad. So when I say pressed down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just squish the ink off of the surface. I think I re-inked these today. I'm going to squish the ink back into the pad. I'm using the back of a spoon here. And let's try this one more time. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up, see if this makes a difference. We'll get our dauber, put some in the middle, and take a look and see if we like this one better. And then another trick is if you pick it up and kind of press on it from behind, it'll help to get more of the ink spread around. But I'm not really happy with that one either. This is kind of a trial and error sometimes with these photopolymer stamps, and this is one of the reasons that I really like red rubber. There's so many pros and cons, but you get the idea. And here are a couple of my earlier versions of the die cut two-tone flowers. So we've got the lighter blue, then the darker blue in the center. And then we're going to do the smaller flower, the smallest flower, I guess I should say smallest flower. We're just going to do that straight right up on into the Night of Navy, which is inking and transferring ink much nicer than my Balmy Blue is right now. So I don't know what my Balmy Blue's sad story is, but apparently it has a sad story today. So, and that's okay. And this is live. And it's showing you that, you know, not everything that, you know, Julie stamps is absolutely top-notch perfect. Sometimes I have the same struggles that you do. And I try to figure out the situations and solutions. And sometimes it just doesn't quite make as much sense as it should. I do know that sometimes when the ink is dry, it looks a lot different from when it's first stamped. And here is my die cut Misty Moonlight. So it dries a little bit lighter, and that's another thing that is always surprising to me is when it dries, it doesn't always look the same either. All right, we're going to bring in Old Olive and we're going to do our leaves. So I am doing 2 of each. Oh my goodness, the inking situation today. 2 of each. I'm going to go on this strip. And then you've got a little bit extra paper. I like to be generous with my paper in case you're like, oh, I need a do-over. Okay. So you can do them over if you need to, or you can do extra. Maybe you want extra leaves on this card. Totally up to you. You may be using a different stamp set that requires more paper too. I never know what's happening in your crafty area. But I do have all of these die cut and ready to go. So I've got my little leaves right here. I already shared with you my flowers. So you're using the 2 medium dies or the small die. These are the 2 leaf dies right here on the edge. So you can see that they are very different in shape, and you can see them here as well. So they're just going to die cut those. And you'll have to repeat because, again, there's only 1 of each. And now we're going to do our little bits of gluing. So we're going to pop these on here onto our card. And I'm just going to bring my ink, my inky, everything's inky. My inky die cuts. I already inked them. They're already die cut. We're just going to pop them down here at the bottom. And kind of put them down here, and then I want the fatter flower on the bottom, the rounder flower, I guess I should say, a little bit rounder. So he's just going to come here. My little green glue friends, I can squish them around a little bit if I want to. There's that little bit of wiggly room. There we go, and I'm happy with that. So we're going to stop right there, and then we're going to do these little leaves. If I can get them off of my work surface. We're going to pop these up in the corner up here. And I like to leave the whiter, it almost looks like it should be the other way, but there's like a little white crease on these in the stamping of the image. So it just kind of gives a little bit of interest. I think I need a little bit more glue there. So a little bit of interest. Oh, I almost forgot the little guy here. Let's put little guy in too. This is the little dark blue flower. So little dark blue flower. Depending on how nicely they die cut out, you may want to rearrange how they fit on here. It just kind of makes it handy to get the best looking images without having to re-die cut or fussy cut. You can definitely fussy cut too. So there we go. Just a note, and really similar. I didn't change this one up at all, did I? We're going to bring in the blue embellishment. Looking for my take your pick tool. So the blue. So all of these embellishments that come with this card class work beautifully with the cards that we're making, and I love when that happens. So there we go. There's our blue, and this one is so pretty. I'm going to lift this up so you can see. My camera seems kind of far away today, but here we go. Here is our beautiful everyday card. Just a note. And let me just move some of these things out of the way so I don't get into them again. All right, I think I did all of my cleaning of the stamp, so we're good there. And then just one more time. So you're kind of comparing it to, if you wanted to change up the theme at all, right? You can definitely do so. So this was, again, our fun fold. You'll be getting this card recipe along with this card recipe with your order this week in the mail. Now this one has some cute little flaps on here that are holding up this card focal piece and kind of making it it kind of springs forward. It is a really cute card. It's definitely a fun fold card. So there we go. Card number 2 already done and in the books. The everyday cards that we're working on right now are just really simple, beautiful cards. All right, so we are Jess says she was worried that the lemon side up might go down. I know how you love blue, Jess. I love it too. That's like, we are the same on that. We love our blues, and I love this card. I think it's really, really pretty. I love this paper, and it just goes to show you that the B side of any designer series paper, that Mediterranean Blooms, has so much lemon and lime going on, but the opposite sides are beautiful for lots of different cards. All right, we're going to swing into our third card here now. Let me find my card kit from my messes. And I've been doing a lot of yellow lately. And orange. This card kit, oops, not grape. We're not using grape. We are reusing Old Olive. We used Old Olive on the last card with the blues. We're using it again with Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. So these are some almost fallish colors to me, but lots of yellows going on, and you're getting a lot of good stuff in this kit. This is a full kit. So you've got your this is the Floral Delight designer series paper, and it really does, you could work either side of it. I really like this side for this one. I like the more plain versions. You're getting a couple of the Spotlight on Nature dies for this one. You're getting the bow punch pieces, so I've got the leaf and these little flowers, which I typically will call a sprig because they could be a sprig too. And you've got some more Daffodil Light and some more Old Olive. This is your card kit. And let's check out your card that we're going to be making from this part of the class. All right, so here it is. So much joy. And there's well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a little touch of orange in this one as well. We're using a different way to stamp and die cut our flowers and leaves, not just on white paper. You can also use color cardstock as well, kind of get a tone on tone look, and then sponging on some color for that fun effect. So this is the card that we're making. Let's check out the card that was inspired. Lori says she likes the puppy dog. That was a fun one, wasn't it? I love that one too. Okay, we're going to check out the fun fold here. Now, we used, this one is a split panel card, in case I forget to tell you that. We used the Delightful Floral Delight, the Delight bundle. I used it a couple, Delightful Wishes. I used it last week, I believe. Delightful Wishes was on tap. No, maybe that was 2 weeks ago. My goodness, I'm getting all confused and miscombobulated. But you can see the similarities here. We've got our big Spotlight dies. We've got flowers and leaves over here. Just a totally different way to use this. And to be honest, I kind of like this one better. It's got more openness here, and it looks cleaner, more simple, and it's just really, I think it's really pretty card. Now, what makes this a fun fold? You're looking at it and going, yes, Julie, what makes this a fun fold? I mentioned it was a split panel card. So when it opens, and I don't even think I'm going to have enough room to show you the whole thing here. This is the bottom or the inside, and it's got a panel here, and then the front comes back down. So this is a split panel card. So you can kind of see this is the back side of it. So it's just it's a fun fold card. It was easy to create, really quite simple in the scoring and assembly, but it just gives that little bit of ooh and ah. Now you could definitely do the same thing with this card if you wanted to. This could be a split panel as well. So you'll get those directions on how to make the split panel, but we're making the everyday card in this class today. So let's put this one together. We're going to start with all of the good bones of our card kit, as we like to do. I am going to keep, I know, I'm like, if I put this one down, I just don't think I can. I think I have to have the other side. Now in class, it was great to see everyone was flipping their cardstock, their DSP around, I should say. We had a lot of flipping of the DSP because the yellows just worked really well. The inside panel also had similar things, but I really like this one better, so I'm just going to stick with it. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing here. If you get this kit at home and you just feel like you have to use the other piece, the other side of the designer series paper, absolutely, feel free. I can't wait to share. I'm going to be sharing. I took some pictures in my in-person class because my stampers come and they do amazing things. And then I'm like, I need a picture of that. So during this week, when I share all the pictures of the cards from this class, I'm also going to be sharing some of the pictures of the things that they did on their own fun fold cards to give you even more ideas, because there were so many ideas for so many things. All right, in your kit, I don't want you to get confused about this. You have 2 pieces of Daffodil Delight. The smaller one is 4 inches wide, the same width as our designer series paper. So it's going to go across your card base just like this. The bigger one is where you're going to stamp your flowers. Okay, so put the bigger one aside for some stamping. But before you put this down, please notice that it looks so much nicer when you bring in some pumpkin pie. Let me get my inks back out here. We're going to bring in some pumpkin pie, and we're just going to touch the edges here a little bit. So I'm going to use the dauber. We're just going to do the outside edges and then across just a little bit. We don't even need to go all the way across because a lot of this is going to get covered up by the circle. Now I'm just setting it down here. I'm not gluing it yet, so don't panic. But I want you to see the difference between the sponge side and the not so sponge side. This one really sticks out and it looks impressive. This one kind of fades into the background, and that is not what our card pieces are meant to do. Nothing should fade into the background. I want someone to look at the cards we make and go, look at that detail and look at that detail and look what they did there, because we put a lot of details into our cards and a lot of ink on our fingers. So we definitely want that all to be noticed, right? We got to notice these things. All right, I'm going to bring in a scrap paper here, and we're going to go ahead and with our really boring Daffodil Delight. It's beautiful die cut, but it's really boring. We're going to bring in the blending brush because it's a bigger surface. You could use the sponge dauber if you wanted to, but I'm just going to add on just a little bit, not a lot. And if you add on too much, you're going to turn this entire piece orange. So, I mean, maybe that's what you want, but I would recommend just kind of hitting it here and there even so that you can kind of get some varying tones in here. You definitely don't want it to be too orange, but you don't want it to be completely yellow either. So it's kind of that interesting Mango Melody color. Does anyone remember Mango Melody? It retired a few years ago. It was an orangey yellow. It was not a popular color unless you really liked yellow and orange, and I know you miss it. But when you sponge a little bit of orange on your Daffodil Delight, and by orange I'm saying pumpkin pie, on your Daffodil Delight, it has that melon mango look to it. So I want you to think about that. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to stamp on this piece, and I probably shouldn't have closed up my ink pad, but it's okay. We're gonna open it back up here just as soon as I find my So Much Joy sentiment. So the So Much Joy sentiment, we've gone back to Everyday You and Me. So here is So Much Joy. The other sentiments in here, which I didn't cover yet, are happy, better together, and love every moment. Now this happy, actually, let's pause here for a quick commercial break. Simply Said and Everyday You and Me. I used both of them. Let's go back to the very beginning to our fun fold card where we used Love Every Moment, So Much Joy. So we used So Much Joy in this one as well. And then on the inside, I used the Happy from Everyday You and Me, but I used Birthday Wishes from Simply Said. So you can see here that I used the two stamp sets together to have Happy Birthday Wishes work out for us. So you can mix and match. I know you can. It's just a lot of fun. But we're doing So Much Joy on our white die cut. These are the Spotlight on Nature dies. And I re-inked my orange, so I'm thinking it's going to be a lot darker than what we're seeing over here on my first sample. So let's just see how much darker this is. And we're going to stamp this to the right because we're going to put all of our flowers farther over. Definitely darker. Now it might dry a little bit lighter as well, but as mentioned, a lot of the ink pads, especially if you're heating in the wintertime, which we do, we're in Maine, right? We have a nice outdoor boiler that keeps us toasty. It also keeps everything super dry. So in the winter months, there's a lot of static, there's a lot of dryness. My stamp pads dry out, even closed up in my craft room. So make sure you have your re-inkers. Super important, and re-ink is necessary. I find that I'm re-inking more in the wintertime than any other time of the year. I don't know if that's the same for you where you are, but I definitely find it. They just dry out all on their own. Like, I have nothing to do with it. I mean, yes, I'm using the inks, but I don't use all of them. I certainly don't use orange very often. Orange is not my go-to color at all. I think I use orange probably the most in October when I'm doing pumpkins. Maybe at Thanksgiving time. Other than that, the orange doesn't usually go very far in my craft room. But it gets dry, and I have my re-inkers, so I just gave it a lot of my ink pads today. Spent a lot of my time re-inking. So I just re-ink them with the refillers. I grabbed the back of my plastic spoon, which I used earlier, if you saw me do the back of that. And then I'll just take a baby wipe, and I will wipe off. I didn't do that with this one, but take a baby wipe, clean off. See, look at that. I did not. The back of my spoon, you wouldn't know, right? I have a blue spoon. That's just so I don't eat with it. But anyway, clean off your spoon, and then you can re-ink your other ink pads, right? You've got that ability to do so. We're going to go find my dimensionals, and we're going to put dimensionals back onto the back side of our lovely die cut circle. These Spotlight on Nature dies are really fantastic. Again, another of my favorites because there's so many nesting circle sizes, and they're good sizes too. Like this is a pretty big size. I can see that I have some orange right there. I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but orange has found its way onto my white die cut, but I'm okay with that because I'm going to be covering quite a bit of this up. So here's where we're going. Here's kind of the bones. So any sentiment could go here, and then you are getting some punched pieces, but you're going to do some stamping too. So you can do some flowers here. We're going to do Old Olive and Daffodil Delight. Now for this card, I did 2 of the larger flowers, So we're just going to do some tone on tone stamping. So we've got one there, and you've got one here. You're going to be die cutting these, or you can fussy cut them. I want to share a story from class. So the very first card one of my tables did was that pink card at the beginning. And we did a lot of flowers. There was like 3 layers of flowers. And Betsy came to my class. My stamping friend Betsy, not my dog Betsy, just in case you're wondering, wait a minute, how does the dog stamp? The dog does not stamp. And Betsy, instead of die cutting them, because there was multiple die cuttings happening, right? There's only one die per outlined image. So Betsy decided that she was going to fussy cut them all, and she fussy cut a lot. And the fun part of the story is, while I think there was 3 other girls that were die cutting, and they all had to share the dies, right? So there's a lot of die cutting going on. Betsy was done long before all 3 of them got done with their die cutting. And that's just because she sat very quietly and she fussy cut all of the leaves, all of the flowers, all of the things. I was really impressed. Now, as I talked to you about that fun story, I've got 2 large flowers in Daffodil Delight on the Daffodil cardstock, and then 2 of these, I love these leaves, 2 of the leaves here, Old Olive ink, Old Olive cardstock. When we get all done die cutting, you've got these flowers, and you've got these leaves. So kind of your tone on tone look, and they just work really well with our other pieces here. But we're not done. We're going to doctor up these little beautiful yellow flowers. They're very happy and cheerful flowers too, by the way. We're going to doctor them up a little bit. So you can see here they look a lot different from what's on my card. So we're going to bring Pumpkin Pie back in. Pumpkin Pie is having a grand tour today of all kinds of stuff on this beautiful card. And we're going to take the tiniest little centerpiece of the Everyday You and Me. So there's some little background, some splotchies and some dots and such, which worked out really well. They work out really well for things on your cards. So we're taking this little tiny image and we're just in the pumpkin pie. We're just adding this to the center of the flower just to kind of draw the eye in here a little bit and give it just a little bit of importance. And I'm going to bring my dauber back in, and I'm going to come through and I'm just going to kind of feather a little bit the edge and then outward. Give it a little tinge and tint of this pumpkin pie. Now we've got daffodil cardstock, we've got daffodil inking, but doesn't this flower look a little bit orange now? Like totally different from the first one, right? That doesn't have the extra ink on it. So this is one of my favorite things, besides making multiple layer cards, is just playing with ink and changing colors up. It's just so much fun to me to just kind of, it's like a science experiment really, right? Sometimes I don't have good results. I'm going to admit that. Like some of my results are like, ooh, garbage bin city. But sometimes it's just really fun to come up with different color combinations. All right, we are done making all of these beautiful little things. Now we're just going to put them onto our card. And we're going to do some, oh no, we're not done. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Remember those little punch sprigs that I did? This is from the Bow Punch, my favorite punch in the world. These are coming to you white. Now you have options with these. You could color these for sure. You could grab out your markers and color them in. What we're going to do on these, I don't know if you can see it, the detail here on my card, probably not. If I lift it up, my camera may or may not focus, but I have a little bit of orange on the tops of the white. So I'm just going to pick this up, grab my dauber, and I'm just trying to catch the top. I'm not making them orange flowers. I still want them to be white because it lends a brightness to the card, but I want the tops of them to just be a little bit orange. So hopefully if I lay that down, maybe you can see it. And as I mentioned, my camera is sitting a little bit higher off my desk today than normal, but it just gives that little bit of cuteness. It brings out the flowers, and you could do that with Daffodil Delight if you prefer to have a little bit more yellow. You could bring in some reds. You could do whatever you want to, for sure. But I wanted to do a little bit of orange. Now, the fun part, right, is when we become flower arrangers. Don't know if you knew that you're a flower arranger or not, but I think that you're qualified. Basically, you're going to dry fit all of your leaves and your flowers onto here, decide how you want them to go. I'm going to start like this with an idea of my leaves kind of coming around. And I'm not worried about putting those little flowery sprigs in yet. I'm just kind of basically getting the idea that this one probably these need to be up a little bit higher. These ones could maybe come down a little bit lower. And then once you're happy, take off some of them, and then we're going to start with, I know, we're going way to the beginning. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. We're going to start with our leaves, our punched leaves, I should say. I'm trying to reach my tear and tape, so sorry for my reach. And I'm just going to pop these down. I'm not going to glue down the whole thing because all of this is going to get covered up with more layers over here. So I'm just going to kind of bring them around here in a circle with tear and tape. It's always my favorite thing to do. And we're going to pop the little backings off of this tape, this little waxy backing, so that everything else will stick nicely to it. It gives it a little bit of like flight too, right? I don't like to glue everything down all the way all the time. All right, now keep in mind that your leaves here, this one is a little bit more delicate and smaller, so I like to put this one on top. This one's a bigger leaf, so I put this one on the bottom because I feel like this is a heavier looking leaf than this one. So I don't want it to be top heavy. I want the balance to kind of work out well. So I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive either here or where you want to put it. And we're going to pop that one over here. And then we're going to come back down through here. Actually, I'm going to come back to my normal routine of, you could go on the paper and just hang out right there. Now don't worry about the stems not lining up. If you put the stem all the way up here, you wouldn't even see it by the time you get your flower on here. It wouldn't even work out, right? I'm going to just slide that a little bit farther in because I have the glue on here and I still have a little bit of wiggle room, so I'm going to slide that up. Okay, now we're going to put on these flowers, but we're going to put them on with dimensionals. You guessed it. If you're playing along at home, the answer was dimensionals. And I'm not going to go crazy. I think I'm going to do 2 kind of in the middle. And there's a reason why I'm going to just do 2 in the middle. First, let me get the backings off. We'll start with the bottom one. So I don't know if you can see or not, but the top one I have coming down. And I don't know if it would look better if it was the opposite way. Let's try the opposite way. You know, I like to try to change up a few things here as I go. All right, so we're going to try to do it this way. So I've got the top flowers coming down. Now I'm going to have the bottom flower come up and over top of, if that makes sense. And we're going to see if it makes a difference, what we like better, okay? So I've got the top coming down over top or the bottom coming up. I think I might like it this way better. It's always an experiment here. Now, I haven't put these in yet, and you may be wondering, like, oh no, you didn't get these in there yet, Julie. What are you doing? I'm going to fit them in here, but you're going to see here, because this is on dimensionals, I have the ability to kind of like pop them in here. So it's a lot easier than you think. We're just going to put some glue here on the stem. And it doesn't really matter if you're glopping or not, because if you slide this in underneath, all that glue is going to be behind anyway. So it's not going to even show. So we're just going to pop one in there. Remember, we are floral arrangists. I don't know, is that a word? Floral arrangist? I'm sure it's floral arranger. But we are doing the floral things. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of, there's a little bit of a space here because this is on dimensionals. So this can come right underneath with its gluey end and can come right down there and pop it on in. If you need to, grab something like take your pick tool, you can grab your bone folder, and you can just kind of go underneath and just make sure that the adhesive from your little white punch piece there has made contact with what's behind it, so that it'll stay there in that little flower arrangement that we just created. How fun is that, right? This is definitely a brighter ink color, which just goes to show you that when you go ahead and re-ink your ink pads, you're going to have a nicer image. All right, so for this one, I was a little bit torn between yellow and this kind of almost like a peachy color. This is like a peach pie color. I don't know if it's going to go with. I'm going to try to grab one and see. Oh, I think it might. This is exciting. I didn't know if it would go. I feel like I have more room up here. I might do 2 up here and then 1 down at the bottom. So yeah, we're going to change this up, and you guys let me know if you think this works or not. I am famous for sometimes taking embellishments off and doing them differently after I've stuck them all down, because I'm not really sure if I like it or not. But this is kind of that little peachy color. And then on my original, I did the yellow embellishments. So I'm not sure which one. I don't know. Does it work? Does this peach work okay? Let me know what you think. I mean, I really love the yellow. I think that's pretty. And of course, this is a lighter sentiment because my ink was lighter, so the yellow works really well here. But there you go. So much joy. And card number 3 already. Look at that. We're just going right to town on all of our cards. And once again, this was our original. So you can kind of see it's very similar. We just changed up some of our floral arrangement here. And we put this piece right here, which we angle cut on this card. We just put it behind the circles. So you can just see a peek of it coming out there. And it just kind of helps to anchor our circles. And it looks really awesome. I really love this one. I hope you guys are enjoying this card class too. This was a really fun fold to do for sure. You can see here this other piece of the Floral Delight Designer Series paper that was in that one. So there we go. Card number 3 is done. And now we're going to move on to our grand finale card. All right, I'm just going to make sure you guys are still hanging out with me and everything looks okay on your end. Ooh, Janice says the peach is pretty. Thank you. Oh, and Jessica likes them too. Melissa likes them. Okay, you guys are doing, you guys have great opinions. I love your opinions. Lori likes the brighter one. Oh, very nice. Okay, good. All right, we're going to head over to our last card now. We are going to go into, I got to find my card kit. Things disappear on me really quickly in the craft room. Let me move some of these things aside. I'm not sure which ones we need, but this is our black card base. And you have some interesting things in here for sure. Sometimes I like to change things up really randomly. So you're getting a little, it's kind of like a little vase or a jug die cut, some little white flowers, green, garden green, something different, right? You're getting a little banner die cut piece. You're getting a tiny little piece of Designer Series paper. This is petal, no, yes. This is Petunia Pop. That's Petunia Pop, not petal anything. Oh, here's a piece of scrap that came out of the die cut. All right, so these, and you're getting some Designer Series paper. Now this in itself is almost a fun fold because it opens like this. This card is meant to open this way. So if you were to go this way, you're going to see that it's kind of like a tent fold, right? So if you had it, you know, going this way, it would open like this, like a tent fold. But we're doing kind of a side, like a, let's call it a landscape fold. Maybe this is, I'm not even sure if I'm making that up, but it could be a thing, right? Okay, so let's check out our card that we're making. We're making this really sweet hello card, and I really like this one a lot. Now this Designer Series paper is the beautiful bokeh. It's in with the butterfly set in the spring catalog. All of, well, I shouldn't say all of these. The little jug here, these die cut flowers in this green are coming from the Country Flowers die. So those are coming to you. So you're just adding in some posies. So the posies that you're adding in are from our Everyday You and Me stamp set. So we've been using these all night long. We've been using the leaves all night long. We haven't used this one yet. So you're going to see here that we're choosing to try something different, make some little posies here. All right, so our sentiment is going to come from, back to Simply Said. It's got some really great ones. A lot of these would fit onto this little banner. You could fit thanks, miss you, yay. Thinking of you would probably fit as well. So there's quite a few of them here that you could use, but we're using hello for this card. And let me share with you the exciting and fun fold that we used. This one's called a double box. This is a double box. This is actually the back of our fun fold card, because the front of it, when it's open, it's like a 3D box. So hopefully you can see down in there, right? So it's a 3D. We've got the butterfly on the front, which we colored with Stampin' Blends. We had fun coloring this. Actually, all my girls got to pick out different bokeh paper. So you're going to see samples this week. They have orange and yellow papers and just different colors. But this is the premise of the card. So instead of a fun fold card, if you kind of look at these as you're looking at them like this, you're going to see that the outline of the Designer Series paper and then the image here are all similar. It's just that I filled this with something completely different because I wanted to use my flowers, right? So I had to get my flowers in here. So this is a double box card, really pretty. We had a lot of fun coloring that one in too. And it folds flat. So as you fold it, it's meant to fit right into an A2 size card envelope. So you can see it's the same size when it's folded, which is like a super genius thing to do. All right, so that was our fun fold. Now we're going to talk about how we're going to put this one together, because there's lots of things with this Designer Series paper that you're going to be getting. This again is the bokeh paper. If I run low on some colors, you may get some different colors in here, but you could definitely use either side depending on on what you want to do. Now the front of this is going to definitely look like this. So you're looking for 2 pieces of the designer series paper that are 4 inches tall, which are these 2. This one is a little bit different, so you can see the size difference here. This one is going to mat onto your black cardstock that's coming in your kit. And again, you can choose to flip things around if you want to. It's got some really great papers. I'm going to definitely make sure that all of the papers you're getting are beautiful together. So here you can kind of see that. I do like this more muted look myself. I feel like it's like stained glass. It's just so pretty. This cardstock is just absolutely stunning. It is a 6x6 pack. I'm going to keep my colors the same here. I'm not going to change this up again. So we're just going to make sure that we're matting these on here, and it's going to kind of do that 1/4 inch thing or the 1/8 inch thing. I'm going to just pick this up again, try over, because I feel like I made it a little bit more crooked than I want. Okay, if this happens at home and you just need to add more glue, this is like adding more lubricant, right? So now it's like slippery all over again. So right here it's really sticky because the glue is already trying to set up on me. So if you need to pick something up and start over, when you add more glue, it's okay, because then it gives you the ability to kind of slide it back in there where you wanted it to go. So don't be afraid of the glue. I know some people are really not glue people, and that's okay. I'm just letting you know it's really awesome if you've never done it. Okay, so here we go. Just like this. And it almost looks like that black kind of lends to almost a fun fold look without being a fun fold. It's just kind of deceiving, right? It's deceptive, but it's really pretty. So we are going to go ahead and put this layer on here, this DSP onto this piece. And then this one is going to be bumped up when we get there. But first we're going to talk about all the ways we're going to do all of the things. There's going to be a lot of things here. I'm just going to set this aside. Let's stamp our sentiment on this cute little banner. We're going to do this in Gorgeous Grape. And I need to find my hello stamp. Here it is, right here. Okay. So I'm going to keep the sentiment farther again toward the banner points, toward the right, if you will. And the straight side of this is going to kind of be tucked underneath our cute little vase here, our vessel, if you will. All right, so we're going to just put this away for right now. This is the only ink actually that we're going to use on this card. We're actually going to bring in, for the rest of it, Stampin' Up markers. I've got Petunia Pop, Garden Green, and Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to be using the Stampin' Up markers because we can use those direct to our inks. Direct to our stamps. We've got this stamped image, so that's what we're going to be doing with that. But let's talk about this cute little piece of DSP and how we're going to get this onto our little vessel here that's going to hold some flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue right here across. And it's got this pesky little handle here that you might think like, whoa, how am I going to cut my paper like around that? That seems like it's going to be super difficult. We're going to put this on here. We're going to let this set up just for a second because we don't want to, have it sliding around while we're trimming it. So let's just set that aside. We'll let that glue dry a little bit. Let's work on our flowers. So you're going to need a couple of them. Now I'm using the Garden Green, and when I ink up my stamps, I'm going to use the brush end, but sideways. I'm not going down like this. I'm not squishing the tip onto the stamp itself. I like to do it sideways. That way the brush end stays beautifully unabused. I'm gonna go there with that. So we're just gonna kind of brush on that Garden Green, and let's start with the Petunia Pop. So again, I'm looking for the brush end, and I'm just gonna kind of sideways brush my little flowers here. It's not gonna look like there's a lot of ink on here. The photopolymer stamps don't accept the ink as well. A quick breath on that. We're going to push this down, and when I look at it right here, it looks like it's going to be really darkly inked. Like you can see the flowers, you can see all the good stuff. It kind of gives a watercolor wash effect to it. Now when you do this with the markers on red rubber, your effect is totally different. It is a lot better in detail. The photopolymer kind of, because of the makeup of the photopolymer itself, it's kind of slippery, so the ink has a harder time sticking around. I wonder if I dip that in Versamark first. I'm talking out loud. I'm thinking out loud. I'm bringing in the Gorgeous Grape now. I did not clean this in between because this is a darker color. of purple, and I don't think that it's going to really harm the fact that there was a little bit of the petunia residue might have been left behind on there. Possibly if this was put into Versamark to get that sticky Versamark ink on it and then inked, it could potentially work. I'm not sure. That's a thought that I have. If anybody has ideas, let me know. I love it. Make sure you close these up nice and tight, keep them secured. So here's our cute little flowers. You can see them just like this on our card. Now there is a die that will die cut them, unless you're like Betsy and you want a fussy cut. But there is a die that's going to die cut them. There's only one, so you're going to die cut one and then the other. Just like that. Magical TV. I've got my little die cuts right here. Beautiful. And that's all you need for this one. That's like pretty much it, because everything else is here for you. Before we go too far, we're going to put some color on that too. All right, so this is on here nicely. We're going to flip this over and work from the back side. Now the side without the handle is super easy to work with. You're just going to go ahead and take your paper snips, follow your die cut up, and you've got a nice little edge there. You're going to basically do the same thing here. Now, if you remember, when I put this paper on here, I didn't glue the entire strip of designer series paper. There's not glue over here. So you can see that my handle isn't glued down, so I can still use the side of my little vase, and it's so much easier than you think. Because at first when I started thinking about doing this, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to like try to get into this little crevice right here with my scissors, and definitely can do it, but let's make it easy on ourselves. If you don't glue the whole thing all the way across the handle, you can get in there and underneath, and then you've got a cute little pattern on your little vase or jug here. And how cute is that, right? Now you can do something like this with any of your die cuts, any of your designer series paper. It's really cute to jazz things up like that. Okay, the last things we need to jazz up are these cute little white flowers. Now these are part of the Country Flowers dies. They're coming to you die cut. I chose to use my markers that I had out, and I just added a little bit of ink. And I'm going to use the smaller end now, because I'm just going to add a little bit of ink to the center of these, just to give them like a little bit of color right in the middle. Everything else is going to stay beautifully white. Now you could color the whole thing in if you wanted to. You could, because they're coming to you white, you could make them any color. You could add in, I think yellow would be lovely. Okay, now we're just going to finish assembling this. Like, this is where we're at. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and put in my glue starting to set up here on me a little bit. Just a few daubs of glue on the leaves. We're just building on this piece before we pop it down. I'm going to put this on right about here, and it's going to be beautiful. Garden green is a nice bright color with the purples, by the way. So I'm just doing a little dry fitting. I just want to know where my hello sentiment needs, like how far over do I want it to go? I want it to be behind the little jug thing here, little vase. So I think right about there is probably really good. So we're going to just put some glue here, and down she's going to go. This is the hello. Now I do want that to be straight, so I'm going to try my best to make sure that that remains in a beautiful fashion. Now before I put this down, I need to do another dry fit, and then I need to add in my little flowers. So they are the same height because of the same stamp, but you can make them one taller than the other. So I liked the darker one behind, as you can see here, and it's up higher. So it's okay because the lighter one, the lighter purple flowers, is going to cover up where this ends. So it doesn't look so off, I guess you could say, right? We just kind of make it an optical illusion that this is just taller, and then this guy's a little bit shorter in the front, shorter in the front, and then we can see both of those beautiful colors of flowers. And now we can glue this on just like that. This is a fun one. I really like this one. When I had the butterfly was just so beautiful and big and bold, and I knew that I needed to come up with something that was going to be equally fabulous. We're going to put a flower down right here. A little bit of white just kind of brightens everything up. And then we're going to pop on another flower right up on top of it. And then we're going to finish up our card here. And I hope you enjoyed this everyday you and me card class. I just think that's really cute and pretty. Definitely different for sure. So anyone that came to my in-person card class and did all of the fun fold cards, you're seeing a whole new card class tonight. You're seeing these same cards that you played with on Saturday and made really creative folds with, but now you're seeing them in kind of an everyday way and in ways that you can definitely change it up so that you don't have to always do the fanciest cards, right? We're kind of simpling them down a little bit. Simpling them. I'm making up words tonight. Tonight's my word night, making up words. So we're going to go ahead and bring in, of course, the purple. Although I'm looking to see would any other color work here. I would not be against the pool party, but we're going to do purple because you can't go wrong with purple. I know I have a lot of friends out there that love, just adore purple in every way, right? You're like, more purple, please. So purple it is. These rainbow dots are just so much fun to play with for sure. So you're going to get those with your card kits this week when you spend $55. And then if you spend $60, you're still getting Sale-A-Bration. There's still 2 more weeks of Sale-A-Bration. Sale-A-Bration has not ended yet. So again, that was our regular card. This was what we kind of based it off of. Our fun fold card, which was a double box. Super fun, super fancy, but totally different, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. All right, let's look at all the cards we have tonight. I gotta find my pile. I'm missing one. I've got these ones, this one. What did I do with my orange cards? Oh, my yellowy orange cards. Oh no, this is ridiculously crazy. Anybody see them? Oh, I put them back in the box. Okay, they're back in the box that I threw everything else in. All right, so here are your cards. So you've got a landscape card, and I don't do landscape cards very often, but I really love how that one turned out. I'm trying to make sure you can see them all. So please let me know in the comments right now, which of these is your favorite? We've got blue, pink. I'm going to call this purple and black. You can call that just black if you want to. We've got the yellow card, which has the orange in it. They're all so pretty. They're all very springy. They're all very florally. And they're definitely something that I feel like you could do too with any flowers that you already have. So you don't necessarily need to get this stamp set and these dies. You can make some really beautiful cards with whatever you have at home. You've got some really great card kits for sure to try out. All right, let me check out your comments because I want to see how you guys are doing. Kathy, love the changes. Thanks, Kathy. That's like a super huge compliment because I know the class was awesome. Janice likes the purple and black. Lynn likes them all. That's awesome. The 4th card. Michelle, I have to tell you that at class, I always ask my in-person stampers when they're getting ready to go and they've made all of the cards at class. I always ask them, I love to know, which one was your favorite? So I ask people in person and I ask you online too, because I like to know what you guys like. And then I can kind of create cards that I think will appeal to you and give you some inspiration. So that black butterfly card was a very popular card. That one, a lot of people like the yellow card, and then they also like the pink card. So my poor little blue card didn't get as much love, but I know me and Jess like it, so that's all that matters. All right, hi from the Cape, love them all. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. So this is your card class offer for the week. You'll be getting these card kits in the mail with your order. You'll get the embellishment if you bump to 55. You'll get Sale-A-Bration at 60, and no matter if you just order the minimum to get the card class this week, I'm going to give you the everyday card recipes, but I'm also going to share my fun fold card recipes. So you're getting double. You're getting 8 card recipes this week, which is my kind of, we're going out of Sale-A-Bration on a bang. There's a couple more, I think there's one more week after today of Sale-A-Bration. So I wanted to do something kind of big and fun that I hope you will enjoy too. Those fun fold recipes are really awesome. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and sharing some time with me. Remember, if you're local to me and you want to come to my March bingo event, I know some of you are signed up already, so that's awesome. Today's the last day for early bird pricing on the March Madness in-person bingo event. We're doing that in Herman, Maine on March 8th. If you sign up tomorrow through February 28th, you're going to pay $5 more. So definitely sign up today. Like, it's totally worth it. Lots of prizes for sure. And then Card Maker Club is also coming to an end for February. If you haven't signed up for that one yet, we are doing a really fabulous class. If you need more information, I definitely have all the details. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I will read your comments through. I'd love to check them all out. Hi hi to everybody over on YouTube. I have some great friends over there too that like to watch the card classes, and I really appreciate it. So please like and love on my video if you haven't done so already. Corey, you're gonna have to watch replay. I know we're just winding down now. Give me some hearts out there. Give me some love. That helps me out a lot in the Facebook algorithm so that other people can check out this video and get inspired too. All right, everybody, until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.